despite knowing that there are ways to deal with it, then there's a reason for that, and that reason is positive for that person. Maybe getting a lot of, particularly veterans, people in the army, maybe getting a lot of support, and I don't mean attention in the wrong sense, but it's, there is a benefit from them still being ill, because they may still be able to access funds to deal with it. Maybe they don't want to get a job, so they just live with it and say, oh well, I've got this trauma and there's nothing could be done, but actually there is.
Yeah, that feels like the full force of trauma as well. That feels like in it, consumed by it. I talk about my trauma as having a traumatized mind, and the trauma was so big that there was very little of my personality, my real personality left. And I had to shrink it down, make it small enough so my untraumatized mind, the real me, outshone the actual trauma that I was experiencing. And I see it a lot, that the traumatized mind is so big and has taken over the personality to such a degree that they're just living in that traumatized state.
Yeah. And then it's just it's a leap of faith, isn't it, to have someone say to you, we can deal with this in a relatively short length of time, and would you like to do that with us? And people just don't necessarily believe that that's possible.
Yeah, and it really is, because the mind is bloody clever at creating an illusion.
Yes,
isn't it? It's like
I don't want to get too woo-woo about everything being an illusion, but it probably is, isn't it?
It is, and that is the sneaky thing about trauma, the ego, the unconscious, is it creates a false sense of security. It's like a false positive.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of a time when you suddenly woke up and realized, because I think this is such a big conversation, that actually what I'm thinking isn't right, it's an illusion and I can change it.
And have I thought of it? Can I think of a time when I decided that? Yeah, I think probably on my NLP practitioner course, I thought, wow, I actually have control over, I've always had control over what I choose to believe, but now I've really got control, and I understand how I've created my reality that I don't particularly like. And I realized that it's really easy to create it in a different way and live happily ever after. And I still get bumps when I think about it. And I think until I did that, honestly, I didn't know that. But a big light bulb moment. And I think, anyone that's listening that's been on NLP courses will probably have had the same experience, in that you can do things to change your life, and you can do those really quickly, and you don't have to live in a world where you're not happy.
I think that's the bit we need to bottle. That's the bit we need to bottle, and to get across more than anything, is that not seeing right or left, right or wrong, but getting into the color, living life through color, rather than it being one end of the spectrum or that end of the spectrum, but to bring people into the middle,
just to do whatever they want to do, and live their life to the full, and